What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back, and it's time for a new video. Leeds United have signed a player to bolster the squad. Farke lavishes praise on how Tanaka, and also a little update on Rahimazani's injury. Before we get into that, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, of course, drop your thoughts and comments below. Thank you to William Morrison, Parrot House, and John Abbott for the super thanks on the last video. Much appreciate, guys. Thank you to Mr. Unknown, who's become a new member of the channel. Salute to you and all my members. Thank you for going the extra mile for me with that kind of support. And if you want to become a member of the channel, the link is in the description. So let's get straight into this. JOSUHA Guilavogui has signed for Leeds United. An official statement is to follow. Fabrizio Romano's confirmed this today, so that pretty much says that it's done. I guess we'll wait for the announcement probably after I've done recording this. But no idea of what the length of the contract is, but the 34-year-old is joining Leeds United. He plays defensive midfielder, can play central midfield, but he can also play centre-back. So as we know, Danny Farke wants all those positions covered, and Guilavogui does this now. Is the length of the contract going to be for the end of the season? That would be my guess at this point, but let's just say it's not and it goes to the end of next season. I'm absolutely fine with it. I think it's a small price to pay, and we've got to bear in mind that we are asking somebody to move their whole life and come over to this, second tier of English football with no guarantees of starts either. So for me, it's a small price to pay, especially when you consider something like Burnley with Jaden Anthony, where if Burnley go up, they've got to pay Bournemouth 10 million. I much prefer this scenario. Of course, there'll be a wage increase if we do go up, but that's when you're talking Premier League, it's going to be very minor to Leeds United. In terms of this as well, I mean, also the contract could be if he hits a certain amount of appearances, it gets triggered for another year. Maybe they can trigger another year if he's performed well. Who knows? But I guess we'll find out when the announcement is made. But all I'll say for this one is Guilavogui for me at Wolfsburg was a really, really good player, very important player for them. It probably won't be the same version of Guilavogui, but if he's anywhere near that level in the championship, especially for a possession-based team like us, who's usually on the front foot, then he's going to be a good signing that will fit in. And you figure that Danny Farke, who's looked at him for quite a few weeks now, will consider his character, consider the way he's fit in training. Obviously, happy enough with his fitness levels, which will only go up as he spends more time here, that it's going to be a good signing. Leeds United have done their due diligence on this one, so I'm pleased with the option that they've made, and hopefully he fits in seamlessly. And when you're thinking of Guilavogui being a defensive midfielder, you can kind of imagine Danny Farke wanting him for last night's game, because if you look at how he was getting a little overrun yesterday, especially in the second half against Watford, he would have probably thrown him on, probably taken off Rothwell or maybe another player and just put in another defensive midfielder in there just to shore it up. But somebody who he was really impressed with, and it's very rare for Danny Farke. Listen, if you haven't seen the post-match interview with Danny Farke, I would suggest you go and watch it, because Danny Farke is not usually one to lavish praise on players. He usually says, don't go too high with players, don't go too low, especially for the younger ones. I guess Tanaka's not really young. He's, prime age 26. But he was very, very complimentary about how Tanaka. And these are just a few comments, people. So, Popey sums up a few here. Danny Farke says how Tanaka was outstanding tonight. He saved the world. He said that. He literally said that. Revealed that the players refer to him as Tiger Tanaka with reference to the character in the Bond films. I'm not familiar with that Bond film, but salute. Farke says tonight he was not Tiger, he was James Bond. And he even went on to say, and when he says these kind of things, Danny Farke means it. He said he had that steel about him and how he was important in his decisive duels. And he was. And this was something that we said yesterday. And LUFC data highlights it in the numbers too. So it matches the eye test of what I was talking about yesterday with, I feel like there was certain points in the game yesterday where we could have been carved open, but Tanaka was just there in the right place, right time. And it goes, listen, if you want the full numbers, go to LUFC data's page. But the ones I want to just touch on are the 12 ball recoveries, 12 passes into the final third, 9 duels won, which was very important, 6 out of take accurate long passes, which is a good ratio, and 5 out of 6 tackles won. He was incredible yesterday, incredible, and long may it continue. And Danny Farke even says that in the post-match game, he can do this for a lot of games. So obviously the expectations are getting high from Farke, from fans, as the games go on for Tanaka. But he was really important in such an ugly win. And when you have ugly wins, You need people to get stuck in. You need people to do what their jobs on the pitch. And Tanaka did that and more for me yesterday. He was so good and easily the man of the match for me yesterday. And long may it continue. Let me know your thoughts about Daniel Farke's comments, or even Tanaka himself, and just how impressive he is. He will be vital coming up to the game against Bristol City. Someone who has also been vital, and you could tell we lost a lot when he went off the pitch, was Rahimazani. The latest update at this point is that he's twisted his ankle, so we'll have to reassess him ahead of the Bristol City game, for which obviously Firpo is suspended. And it was, you could tell the gelling of the team, the combination between Gnonto and Rahimazani, it all disappeared when he went off the pitch, and we lost a lot with Rahimazani out the team. So look, I don't know if he's going to make the Bristol City team, the Bristol City game, I should say. And if he doesn't, then for me, it's Dan James that comes in at this point, because Solomon still doesn't look, fully fit to me. And you saw Dan James in both of his cameo appearances so far. He kind of looks like old Dan James. Maybe he just can't go for 90 minutes, but I would prefer Dan James in that spot at this point in time. But hopefully, people, it's not long term for Rahimazani. But I guess we'll get an update before the Bristol City game in the press conference. So hopefully we get some good news, because we don't want Rahimazani out for long periods, because not only is he doing well going forward, he's doing a good amount of defensive work as well. So we need him in the team. We do need him, and that combination with him and Gnonto, they're developing a real good partnership. It would be a shame for that to come to a halt so soon into the season. Something else I wanted just to talk about from yesterday in terms of that, we know Firpo is going to miss the next game. We kind of touched on this yesterday, that Schmidt didn't get any minutes last night, and Byram literally came on for 3, which is not ideal. So it's going to be interesting to see who gets a shirt against Bristol City. Maybe even they get half each, not even a half each, but maybe someone plays 60 minutes and then someone plays 30. I was just surprised though, because I thought with Farke, knowing Firpo's been booked, I think Firpo could have probably come off 10 or 15 minutes earlier, get in the new left back in that's going to be playing this Saturday, and just see how they fare. Because it was, even though Watford made it a game, I still think we would have had more than enough control whether Byram or Schmidt came on. But the other sub I want to speak about that wasn't used, in addition to Schmidt, was Bamford. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because in the preview for the game, when I mentioned that the story sounded so familiar, Farke just, heaping the platitudes, the compliments on a player, and then not seeing him in the game. And we had this last year with Ayling, we had it with Cooper, where the journalists just keep on asking about the old guard no matter what. And it happened again yesterday. Whether you need a goal to make the game go to 3-1, or whether you need extra pressing from the front or from midfield where Bamford can drop deep, he wasn't chosen for either. So yet again, actions speak louder than words for me, and Farke is doing the same to Bamford like he did last year. And that's why I wasn't worried about the comments in the pre-match press conference for the game against Watford. I was cool with it, because I said I've seen this story before, and it's playing out in front of our eyes yet again. And I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see it. I think he's realized now, yeah, he's on the books, but we need to talk him up to try and get him off the books. And maybe a January exit could be in the works, people. But listen, that is the update for today. Thank you for joining me. Leeds United joint top. We'll see how we go. We fare where we'll be after tonight's results. Maybe Sunderland could, lose by 3-0 today. That would be nice, wouldn't it? But listen, people, like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop your comments below, and I'll see you in the next one, people. Peace out.